In this video, I'm going to take you on a landscape photography adventure through Iceland where I photograph some low-hanging fruit locations and something totally new. But is Iceland worth the outrageous cost? Well, we'll get into that later, but before we do, if you've ever wanted to download any of my photography courses, I'm having a Halloween sale right now, but it only lasts a few days. From now until November 1st, you can get 30% off Mastering Sharpness, Exposure Blending Simplified, Photoshop for Morons 1 and 2, and all of my composition courses, and even my Chasing Ore with Gavin Hardcastle photography ebook. There's a link in the description below, and all you need to do is use the coupon code GHOSTLY24. Okay, let me take you on a nocturnal adventure where we share some quality time under the midnight sun. Well, it's 10 p.m. I've had 4 hours of sleep, and I do have a face like a bag of regurgitated saltfish, but I'm quite happy because we're here in Iceland. Iceland, known as the land of fire and ice, but in the summer it boasts misty green mountains, glacial rivers and giant waterfalls. But let me show you. I mean, look at that, we've got lenticular clouds over mountains over there, a ginormous waterfall in the distance which you probably can't see, and then we've got the setting sun way off over there. And the idea is to visit that waterfall that you probably can't see way off in the distance over there and get behind it. It's one of those low-hanging fruit locations that I said I would never do, but I'm here. I mean, this Airbnb that we're in is a straight line of sight, maybe 4 or 5 kilometres to that waterfall over there. So it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it, love?
Yeah, and we just got here, so we want something close.
It's our first day here and already I'm loving it. I think the sun sets at 11:40 and then it rises again at 3:30 a.m. So basically, we decided to go nocturnal. We're just going to basically stay up all night every night and then sleep in the day. That's the plan. I don't know if it's going to work, but we'll try it.
We'll try.
It could be absolutely jam-packed. I bet it's packed down there at 11 p.m. We'll see.
We'll find out soon.
Well, take a guess. Yeah, it was packed, even after 11 p.m. And by the time we got there, it was too late. Well, as you can see from what's going on behind us, that we've blown it for tonight. The sun is setting. Well, it's set. It's now post-sunset. So we've missed that opportunity to get beautiful glow behind a waterfall, but look at the waterfall. But we've got 3 weeks on this trip, so I'm pretty sure I'll get this shot at some point. While Amanda did the royal wave to some fans, I got busy setting up my first shot, but it was quite the challenge to keep wiping the spray off the camera. Cameras like water, right? Yeah, I thought so. All right, so how do you photograph a living cliche that everyone's done a zillion times? Well, you try and pick something a little bit different. And what I'm trying to do is just take a section of the falls. I mean, most people shoot the entire thing from top to bottom, and it looks fantastic. But it's been done, right? And I'm trying to do something different. So I'm going to take just a little X-pan section from the middle there that's a little bit abstract. It kind of focuses on colour and these lovely little foreground elements that you can see here. I love all of those moss-covered rocks. Anyway, I'll show you the back of the camera and explain my thought process. Now, one thing I'm having to do, you can see my aperture is really wide there, because I actually want to shoot this beautiful cascade here faster than I would normally do. What you guys normally see me do is a long exposure whenever I shoot a waterfall like this. But with this, I don't want to do that because, I mean, look at it, right? Like if you look at the texture in the falls there, it's already perfect. You don't need to do anything to it, like a long exposure, to make it more interesting. It's perfect as it is, so I want to capture it exactly as it is there, and that means a much faster shutter speed. So I'll probably open up the aperture, maybe crank the ISO, and that should give me the ideal speed. Anyway, if this shot turns out any good, here's the shot.
You've probably noticed that this image features the setting sun. Well, the truth is, I went back a few days later and captured the sunset just at the right time, and I love it. Perhaps I should just accept that those low-hanging fruit shots are classics for a good reason.
So we just left that main waterfall and we're walking along the trail looking for others. And this looks like just a natural spring. Look at it. I'm pretty sure that that's not somebody's sprinkler. That's just a natural spring that's erupting at the bottom of that waterfall, which is kind of cute. Look at that. Anyway, we're going to go further down the trail, see what we can see. The sun is still setting. It's been setting for 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. Have a look at this. That's what we're looking at. That's the sun setting in the distance. And it's now 12:40 a.m. Brilliant.
I love it.
I'm prepared to admit that I was fully wrong to resist the charms of Iceland. I once said I would never come to Iceland because there's a million tripods here and everyone gets the same shots. But I was wrong because a couple of years ago I saw this video by Drew Sims. I'll put a link up there to it, and it's all drone footage, but it's just spectacular, and it showed me lots of locations in Iceland that I'd never seen before. So that kind of inspired me to go on this trip. Well, that and the fact that Iceland Air does direct flights from Halifax, Nova Scotia. That might have had something to do with it.
I think that was the name.
But I'm so glad. I mean, this is our first shoot. This is our first night here. Absolutely tremendous.
You can't beat it.
So this would be that classic shot that you see of Iceland all the time, where there's usually a lady in a brightly coloured jacket standing on that giant boulder looking up, and it's all about the waterfall coming down. Epic shot, to be fair, but not really what I'm after. You know, I want some stuff that's a bit different, a little bit lesser known. But you know, we might come back and do some sort of parody of that shot, maybe. Maybe I should be stood on that rock wearing a mankini. Put a comment below if you want to see that. I'm sure lots of you will.
What colour is it?
Bright green, obviously. All right, well, it's 1 a.m. I think it's time for second coffee, don't you, love?
Really?
Do you think there's any cafes open at 1 a.m? What? Anyway, let's go down to Skógafoss. Did I say that right? Did I pronounce it right? Skógafoss? The most famous waterfall, I think, in Iceland. Maybe see what that looks like at 2 a.m. in the morning.
Now, I figured that all of the other landscape photographers would also be nocturnal, but it was just us on the road.
Two hours before sunrise. So basically what you get here in the summer is afterglow for about 4 or 5 hours once the sun's set and before it comes up, which is my favourite time. So I get a 4 or 5 hour afterglow period. Magic. I've just got to find where to be. Even at 2 o'clock in the morning, you've got crazy people on this little beach here, half naked, jumping in the river and getting some of that waterfall spray on them. Look at this guy. I don't know if you can see this guy, but he's having his 2 a.m. wake up. I'm sure that's quite invigorating. Do you fancy a spray?
Well, I'm already cold like this, so I don't think I feel like jumping in there.
No, I don't think I do either. And I know that there's an epic shot from up here with this cool rock formation. But I don't know if you're allowed to get in there because I don't see a trail. I've seen people get that shot before, but I don't know if that's acceptable any longer. Who knows, you might get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. You know me. Always do as I'm told. Oh, he's completely nude, so make sure that he's not in the frame there. I don't want to get demonetized.
So we began the ascent up the hill, wheezing like a set of knackered bagpipes.
Tell you what, love, I'm bloody out of shape.
Me too.
We're gonna have to do some major hiking on this trip. I've been doing this channel for 7 years, talking about getting in shape. It's never happened once. Well, potatoes are shape, isn't it?
The fun police had closed the trail to that other low-hanging fruit shop, so I guess I don't need to worry about that.
Well, there goes that shot, love. I won't be taking that same picture that everybody else used to be able to get.
Should have come here 20 years ago.
I really should have come here 20 years ago.
What a spectacular location. So very, well, Icelandic, I guess. But I felt that the best view of the falls was from down below.
Then we'll get back down the hill, love, and move on.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Have you brought the fixings for coffee?
No.
Oh. Wow, but look at these mountains. I mean, I feel like the sun's probably 45 minutes from popping up. These are going to start glowing, I reckon. Look at that.
But you have lots of mornings to capture it all.
Well, we don't know. We don't know how many mornings, because it might piss down for the rest of the whole trip.
No, it won't. You said positive thinking.
All right, well, you know, but I'm trying to be sensible.
Or whatever you want.
Luckily, the flasher had left as soon as the waterfall switched to going backwards.
Look at this business. How could I just refuse to take that? I mean, that light is absolutely, well, it's a full-blown photogasm, I would say. And I might even do a pano just to feature a little bit more of these cool rock formations here. So my composition is basically this. What I wanted to do is get this little bench that you can see here. I want to get that in the composition. So I'm probably going to crop the bottom off. But on the top of the frame, I just want enough sky to I'm going to take that shot, to capture that beautiful colour there. And then I'm trying a different array of shutter speeds, some that have a long blur and some that just capture it exactly as it looks right now. Because when it's that big, I actually love how that, to me, that's perfect anyway. So I don't really want to do a long exposure, but I'll do a few anyway just to have them. But it's not remotely original, it's nothing new. But with this light, I think it's going to turn out pretty good. And if it does, here's a shot.
Once again, I found myself photographing low-hanging fruit and loving it. But you know my style. I'm always looking for craggy mountains. And did I ever find them? Scenes like these, it would be absolutely rude not to shoot a panorama. What a fantastic first day in Iceland. But not every day goes as smoothly as this one. And the question remains, is Iceland worth the astronomical cost? So is Iceland worth the cost? Well, this is where I go into justification mode, because this was the most expensive work trip that I've ever done. But I managed to film tons of content for this channel. I got loads of beautiful images that'll probably go in my next landscape photography book, and hopefully I've got enough good images for another print sale, which I might do next week. But would it be worth it if I was a hobbyist? Well, there's two ways to look at that. The first thing is, for the same amount of money, you could probably go on 2 pretty good trips somewhere equally beautiful and perhaps not as well photographed, and come away with some spectacular images. The thing that I loved about Iceland is that it's got so many brilliant locations tightly packed together. So you're not driving 2 days or 8 hours to get to a shoot. you know, within 2 or 3 hours at the most, you're at a new location that is absolutely spectacular. So it is expensive, but you do get some bang for your buck. But the second thing I should mention is, it is possible to visit Iceland on a tight budget. This was our first trip there, so of course we made all the usual mistakes. Even though we rented the cheapest car that we could find, we pretty much rented the cheapest Airbnb we could find, and we weren't eating posh meals, we were eating microwave curries. But knowing what I know now, I could definitely have done this trip for far less money. The biggest mistake that I made when I booked this trip is I booked a 3-week trip, which I don't usually do, but I wanted to give myself many opportunities to get good light and go multiple times to the same locations, because I figured it's known for its bad weather, even in the summer, and I thought with sideways rain, there's just no chance of getting a good shot. But what I learned was some of my best shots were actually shot on terrible weather days. So I really didn't need to book a 3-week trip. I probably could have done the whole thing in 12 days and still got enough portfolio pieces to make it a worthwhile trip. And you'll see plenty of that in some future episodes, so make sure you subscribe and tickle that bell so that you don't miss those videos. So I would say that that answers the question of, is it worth the cost? Overall, I would say yes. You just have to be clever about how you do it. Now, I might put together a video that explains how to visit Iceland on a budget as a landscape photographer if I get enough requests in the comments section below. So let me know if that's something you're interested in, and I might just put that together, because I really wish I'd known the things that I know now before I went on that ultra expensive trip. I could have saved myself a lot of money. So let me know if you want to see that kind of video, and maybe I'll put it together for you. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give it the old thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, don't forget to tickle my bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.